Hey guys, it's Clint. Welcome again to Sweetcast. So this video is not about Captain Marvel. I want to make that clear right now. This video is not about Captain Marvel because I'm really tired of making videos about Captain Marvel. But that's what everybody wants to see, and I know you're thinking, no, I don't. I want to see that. But there's a phenomenon happening, really. If you make a video, I guess that's just where things are trending. People are interested, and I think, at least for me, the more interesting part is Rotten Tomatoes and their push to make Captain Marvel about something else. So something else, that's what we're talking about, not Captain Marvel. I want to talk about specifically what it is that Rotten Tomatoes is shooting for when they're calling everybody that is saying they didn't like Captain Marvel a troll. There's definitely something bigger here. So I just want to remind you, this is the colored page now. This is in colors now. It's looking really cool. I'm really excited about it. This is a page from Downcast. If you're interested in it, just sign up to the mailing list in the link description below. And that way, when the Indiegogo launches, you'll get a super secret reward tier that you'll be able to get because you're on the mailing list. All right, so Rotten Tomatoes, they actually posted a link to this article. Oh, this is their article. That's what they posted on Twitter. So they posted this, and it's female firsts. And I think this goes without saying, honestly, but I like women. I have no problem with women. I'm married to a woman. My mother's a woman. I have 2 daughters. I know lots of women. In real life interaction, there's not this like you don't feel like there's this like power disparity. It really doesn't feel like that to me, other than maybe at work. I feel like there are a lot of women who either are work directly over me or just far above me, I guess. And sometimes there can be a power disparity there, but it has nothing to do with gender. It has everything to do with positions of power, like actual power, like I'm your boss, I could fire you kind of power. So I really feel like we live in 2 different worlds. At least in America, it feels like we live in 2 different worlds, because you have one side that is pushing this narrative that there has to be a first, there has to be the next civil rights hurdle to climb. And then there's what I think is reality, or at least this is how I see the world, and I know a lot of other people do too, but we're all just people trying to live our lives, and we all have much better things to do other than oppress somebody because they're a woman. And I think in this difference, I actually watched an interview by Brie Larson done by Jimmy Kimmel, of all people, and it really made me understand that Brie Larson is one of those people that lives in a different world. She's a powerful celebrity. She's got tons of money, and so it comes off as really, really disingenuous when she's complaining about civil rights or pushing for feminism or all that kind of stuff, because she has everything she could. I mean, what else could she want, I guess, besides being in a movie that absolutely everybody adores? So Rotten Tomatoes has been doubling down on their stance that trolls are going in and destroying the reviews for Captain Marvel. So what's the difference between a troll and somebody that just didn't like a movie? I don't know. Really, it's whoever Rotten Tomatoes decides doesn't deserve to put a vote on their website. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But so they have this out that the first Latina to win an acting Oscar, the first woman to be paid $1 million for an acting role. Let me say this. I have never been paid $1 million for an acting role. I've never been paid $1 million, period. We'll say it that way. So I don't like how everyone's lumped into a gender. The other thing is, those same powerful men, they always go to those powerful white cisgender men that are controlling companies and things like that. Do you realize that the rest of us are also competing against those same men? It's not like we collaborate together and it's like, well, at least we got Bill Gates on our team. At least Donald Trump is on our team, for not political reasons, just for, he's a white man. No, the truth is we're all competing against those same people. And so you have just as many men that aren't in those positions because somebody else is, then are in those positions. That was a really weird way to say that. Okay, so movie first woman producer. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. You get the idea. So they get to all this celebration of firsts, and the more that you scroll down, then you get to things that are just so specific that it's kind of ridiculous. For example, first woman to open a film with 100 million. That's silly. Why so specific? You could drill down to, I don't know, and it doesn't even seem like they did their research, because sometimes they just say like, oh, this is the first female superhero. No, not first female superhero. First female in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who has her own title show, her own title movie. You see how ridiculous this is? You could pick any group that hasn't been in that role, because it's only, like, really in the big picture, there are not that many movies. There's not that many Marvel movies. There are not that many movies that meet this exact criteria to count. And so they're discounting everything else that does count by just changing the category. It's maddening. And see, here we go. First woman to direct a Marvel studio film. There are not that many Marvel studio films in the world, really. I mean, sometimes it feels like there's a lot, but there's not really. And so to say like, oh, 2019, this is a landmark year because a woman did this film, it's weird. Just make the movie. You can go ahead, hire a female director if that female director is fit for the job, is going to do a great job. I'm all for that. Go for it. But why is it always an opportunity to show how woke you are? That is what people take issue with. So another thing here, I'll jump into this one actually. Something that gets overlooked is the gender disparity that exists in the world of sanitation. There's always a celebration of firsts when it comes to, jobs that literally everyone wants, and that there are tons of men as well as women that probably want those directing roles. They can't have those jobs, right? They're not well connected enough. They're not talented enough. They're not whatever it takes to have that job. Men and women alike, and so they're doing something else with their lives. In this case, this was a beauty queen, Nicole Dawes, and she was a beauty queen. Now she's a sanitation worker. Now she looks like she's on stage here, but I don't think this is definitely not something that got a lot of attention. For sure, this happened back in November of 2017. This is one beauty queen who doesn't mind being called trashy. Pageant veteran Nicole Dawes, the first runner-up for Miss Staten Island 2017, has added a sanitation worker uniform to her wardrobe of sashes. And the 23-year-old is doing it all for the love of New York City. That's why I took the job, she said. So apparently her dad actually worked for New York City Department of Sanitation, and he helped her, something that she had wanted to do, it sounded like. And yeah, he taught her how to lift the baskets properly so she could, I guess, physically do it. She actually worked out ahead of time so that she would be able to handle the weight of, the lifting requirements for her job. Now, in this case, I honestly, like, if there are requirements to be able to lift so much weight in order to work in sanitation, it sounds like she's working as a street sweeper is what I saw here specifically. And if you can do those kinds of things, then, that's great. Why is this not being celebrated? This should be so celebrated because there are so many men that work in sanitation and not enough women. How about that work in the sewers? I know there are a lot more men that work underground. They're cleaning out sewers. They're cleaning out septic tanks. I think we should start like a hashtag. We need more women in poo. You get the idea here. But this has always been a point in contention for me with feminism, is that they're only looking at the jobs. There's a bell curve. Not everybody is a CEO of a company. Because there are some CEOs of a company, or there are some directors of a film, really relatively very, very few in the world of all the jobs that you could have. You have to understand, men don't just hold the majority of jobs in those prestigious jobs. They also hold the majority in terrible jobs. For example, indicate that only 1% of the workforce, that's women, 1% of the workforce work in sanitation. Women. What? That is an insane number. It should be 50-50 at least. Why are 99% of garbage collectors men? I don't know. It's because it's a job that people don't want. It pays, I don't know how well it pays. I'm assuming it pays decent. There must be decent money. I know, like, I've seen dirty jobs before, and I know that you can do dirty jobs and make some good money doing it. So when you look at it in perspective, I look back at things like, you know, people being upset with Captain Marvel. You have to understand the context, and this is what I feel that they're missing. It has very, very little to do with Captain Marvel having the first female director, or the first, like, whatever it is that they're so happy about. It has everything to do with a misunderstanding of reality. So I'd love to know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Please, it really helps if you like, subscribe, ring the bell, and if you are interested in Downcast, it's you know, here's a woman cleaning windows. So it's a book about equality. You can get this in the link in the description below, or sign up for the mailing list rather, and I'll see you next time.